Welcome back to the channel, folks, for something special. Not only do we have a situation where Numidan is leading against B, you heard that correctly, but we also have a contradiction of history. Because we can see in this matchup, Ottomans versus Byzantines, in real life, the Ottos may have had the edge, but in Age of Empires 4 specifically, we've been rewriting history. This Civ has been capable of getting rolled over time and time again by the Biz. The map is going to be an interesting detail, though. We are on Phrygian marshes. Now, why is that so intriguing? On Phrygian, it's very different. On Phrygian marshes, because of the fort-spawning berries and golds and the linear nature of the map, you're meant to have a good opportunity here to ruin the Byzantines before they can become a problem with the Dark Age racks opening. In this game, be aware of it, has mirrored with the same. So we're going to get spear on spear action coming through here as Limitane also begin to hit the field. All right, this should be a fun one. Predictions are up. Let's see how people feel about this particular one. I mean, Numidan has already, I think, made some additional fans able to take B to the very verge and do so in such a disgusting fashion. He was very close to making this a 3-0 over 3D Clan's most prestigious member. And what a way this would be to do it. Like, we're talking about Numidan playing a Civ that, yes, is comfort for him, but also is considered a signature Civ for his opponent. That's like the most dirty way to take someone out. It's like playing French against Marine Lord and beating him with them. It's like you're sending a message to send them out. And a great message to be sent for Numidan, right? He's still in the main event of the S tier tournament going on right now. And this is the last midweek muster. He'd still have to win a grand finals afterwards up against Wham, who is now just kind of sitting there going, why is this semis final so long? I think he got up early. Like, when I was in the chat earlier, I imagine his thought process is like, oh, we've seen these type of matchups before. It's not that Numidan's not capable, but B is capable of just taking this type of series in an hour. Meanwhile, 2 hours later, still going on, and if B wants to take it, could be another hour on top. So it looks like the spear spam is actually going to start moving out here, looking for the deer. Ah, yes, because B hasn't quite seen it yet. We'll discover it now. So it's going to go for the deer shove, which is about to become a rarity. Like, this will be the last day, probably, that we actually see deer shoving in competitive AoE4. And if there is an Emma nearby, if you could please come to the local office. We have a baby for your retrieval that's about to become cranky. So, what's the win condition for these two sides in this matchup? I think the Byzantines, they lean on the idea of just scaling eco to overwhelm at the start of castle, right? So you just start maxing out systems and feudal, and then you play towards early castle. For Ottomans, a hunker and play late feels pretty good, right? Like, just getting into that hyper late with things like Sipahi, as well as the bombards. One thing that I think is quite scary for Ottos here is actually if Byzantines plays Lombos, it gives them a lot of skill because Lombos in hyper late against Janissaries are super effective. God, it feels weird. After the game we just had to have a beginning like this. This is always the odd thing about having a hype, super late game and then just resetting into the beginning again. You almost have to drag yourself back down to earth to the reality check of like, oh yeah, those type of experiences have to be earned and they can take quite some time. But Spearman Blob continues to build. Numidan stopped at 8. Grand Winery is now going to be coming in from B. And Numidan hasn't actually made a similar reaction. No, instead he went for greed. So he went for the fishing. Oh, not a bad idea. It's going to slow down his initial timing here. But B hasn't continued to blob Limitane, so it's unlikely he's going to counterattack and take this away from him. And in fairness to B, like, he has a lot of food to now work with. Even if he couldn't access the berries in the next 2 minutes, he's got 9 sheep plus the 5 deer now. Numidan, by comparison, has a lot more, 13 sheep, plus wider access to the map. But it means that the berries wouldn't actually be that big of a priority. The funny thing, though, is B got, like, a really good spawn. Yeah, this is crazy good, guys. He got the berries, essentially about, like, as far back as they could be. It would have been a nightmare for you if you got them up here and the gold was at the back instead, because then Numidan could have just outpost rushed on both gold plus berries. So I really actually like B's position. I think he reacted accordingly to this as well, like just not feeling an urgent need to overinvest in defending. And no, Numidan is not down 2 villagers. Reminder, there is a very fun little UI bug with Ottomans right now. The fishing boats get counted as military. So Numidan doesn't really have 17 military bop. He actually has 14. And Numidan is going to militarize the villages as well. He's moving across. It is going to be an outpost drop. Didn't cram it as deep in there as possible, but that's because Limitane could rush in and cut him off. But now with the upgrade coming in first, like this is where it gets a bit dicey. Could we see B pull with the Akratoy as well to overwhelm? We definitely would have them in range. Play that make a lot of sense here. And the hardened status is in for the Limitane. Here we go. Into the egg click he goes. A battle of micro now, but Numidan really has a lot of carrying to do here if he wants to come out ahead. And it looks like he's not going to be able to because the villagers get pulled as well. They've got the Akratoy, they've got the armor, they've got the defense, and they've got the denial. Numidan, he had the Imam point, but it looks like it may have came in just slightly too late. Outpost cancelled. Archers now on the way. Oh, yeah. And Numidan has already played into Imams and revealed them. This gets tricky now. Ottomans, what they need to be doing is pivoting pretty hard into Sipahi. He's scaling on economy, so he will be able to afford it down the line. But there is a risk now that B like inflates his archer count to the point where Imams can't participate in the fights at all. On top of that, B now has access to the berries, which means he has the possibility to get mercs also layered into the formation. A minimum address is definitely giving Numidan a lot of safe food bursts. So I think he's respecting that B could try to counterattack. Yeah, and you don't have like crazy sheep, you're at 10. The cool thing is like actually by going Madrissa, you offset the need for Anatolian Hills. I think often if you want to play Anatolian Hills, Madrissa is kind of a prerequisite. Otherwise, if you want to play without Anatolian Hills, you need to go Madrissa, because otherwise you just run out of food too fast. So definitely a smart play, makes a lot of sense. And on top of that, he's got the fishing as well, which makes it even less likely he ever needs the sheep. Limitane now going to take the opportunity to try and burn down the dock. In fact, yeah, he punts it. I love that. Punts it on the fishing boats. Doesn't quite get the second one. I think his thought process here is he wouldn't have enough time to actually burn the dock, which is understandable. We do, however, have the Western contract coming in. I'm a really big fan of this. A lot of people are probably looking going, wait, why wouldn't you just get javelins? Like, your opponent wants Janissaries down the line, counters. He wants archers now, counters. The idea is, like, longbows are going to feel a lot better when you go into, like, the hyper late game against Janissaries. They're also a lot better defensively. And B's goal should be kind of like a semi-fast castle here. From his current position, it just kind of makes sense because your opponent already went in for the Imam point. So if you want to overwhelm him, you have to, like, escalate your army quite a bit. And you've already scouted that he's gone for fishing, which might make it a bit difficult to stay ahead militarily. It's like we are getting defensive outposts from B now. Which makes sense. Like, right now, Numidan doesn't even have Sipahi on the mind, which means he doesn't have anything that can survive a dive. Archers pair better with longbows than javelin throwers? Oh, what, you mean having, like, archer plus longbow? Yeah, I've seen that. It's actually kind of surprising. I have a game in my memory that was ridiculous. It was Delhi versus Byzantines. And the Delhi player just done, like, your typical Sipahi. Oh, sorry, Ghazi mass. And the Byzantine reaction was to build longbow archer mass. And it's actually quite surprising how effective that can be. Now, what is a bit surprising is the fact that Ottomans are playing into blacksmith techs and B didn't even feel a need to start there. He's fixing it now, and he does have the Dialecticus that he can toggle over to, so he'll unlock fast. Second group of Lombos is also coming, so if B wants to attack, we're kind of reaching the point where it makes the most sense. If he just wants to age up, he'll just basically like stop producing now and tech. Because like 10 Lombos is a really strong defense point. And I think, folks, much to Wham's dismay, we're likely getting another macro again. You can sense it, right? Like the way that Numenon's fully backed up, because he understands that there's a risk here, he's worried. But by backing up like this, it now means that you're in a weird situation where your opponent just gets a free tech up and you're probably going to have to mirror. Doesn't feel totally tragic for Ottomans because of the late game power we mentioned. But I do think his castle timing is going to be kind of awkward here. B has a sturdy military force to upgrade. It's going to be quicker to the tech up. I mean, guys, like we're 11 minutes in the game and the first Sipahi will appear at 13 minutes. That's quite weird against Archer Lombo. Wait, did he get the perfect shape is what I'm wondering. No, that's not even... What the hell's that shit? What is that disaster? I was looking for the perfect U and I discovered a U that got hit by a Zeus bolt. Good lord. Yeah. Kalp would be disgusted. I think I need to get a new mouse. I think my middle mouse button is breaking, so apologies if it janks a bit. So Numenor with the Archer Ball now. Is he actually trying to fight or just prepping? I think it's one of those feelings where, like, if you're going to scale military, you want to be able to try and do something with it. Oh, and apology. I don't think I said thank you to Always Cursing earlier for the sub. We definitely said to Tune. And thank you, Jinx, who just came through with the Prime sub as well. Get those subs going, guys. It's Grand Finals Thursday, after all. We've still got a best of 7 against Wham after this. Yeah, this is going to be a long stream, isn't it? The semis has definitely delivered so far. Golden Horn Town now on the way. Let's see if Numenor can deliver a huge upset in the final week of our 30-week esports circuit. Dives in on the Olive Groves. B should be able to defend this though, right? Like, there's nothing that threatening to dive with. Also at 10 Lombos, very risky to expose the Imams at all. They can die in 2 hits. Thank you for the support, guys. People need to discover your content. Best thing to do is share it around. Upvote the Reddit threads. Drop the amazing videos in the different Discords. Let people know when it's happening each week. It's marketing, right? It comes down to that. Word of mouth is one of the best forms of scaling marketing. Always a big believer that the content should kind of speak for itself. So we do have full military school bloat, which means Numenor is prepping for like maybe a hop skip from castle to imp. It works really nicely with this type of like preparation. And he already has the 2 imams, so he should be able to move out into the field for the relic timing. And he's already on his way. Yeah, B did just scout it though, and remember, he already tacked up. So he's rushed relics as well. But now he's got the army plus Califrax on the way to deny. And also on top of that, guys, he's already got veterancy on longbows. Yeah, Nimu can't actually afford the fight right now. Even if he had like 8 or 9 Sipahi, this would be a difficult one. It's like first relic actually got ducked out of. Yeah, so smart by Numenor to understand that was never going to work. This one getting scouted is unfortunate. He didn't realize it. So Lombo's peel off to deal with that. Secondary group is going to move in towards the fishing. I don't know, man. Does it kind of feel like Numenor is playing slow as if he's still in game 3? In some ways it does, right? Where he had that hunker down and feel good Lancaster life. And we're kind of seeing similar here with Otto. I do know that Numenor is the type of player that almost gets a smile on his face when he hears that he's going to get imp Ottomans. It's almost like a goal for him. That Imam is going to get fully shuttered. Guys, I think we have like a 4 relic game here for B. One's already been picked up. Numadon was able to get the closest one. And he's at least now starting to pick up on the tech. So veterancy come through for archers, but that's just going to mirror the Lombos that are already there, rearing to go. He does have the undermesh potential with the meta to equal out the damage between Lombo archers, but has chosen attack speed instead. Cadders have shown up. An interesting choice into potential Janissaries, but this is the value of the Lombos. It keeps your opponent off of that. Spear spam is going to mirror into each other. Sapai going to rotate around the back, and B, he's quite deep here. Yeah, maybe too deep. Lombos start to back away. The front line is failing. The Janissaries weren't even needed. Canifrax just get plowed down. So one dead already. The second one has to run away. He's got more coming, so Numadon will need to escalate his crossbow count. And I think B, he was trying to snipe out those Expos so that the Cataphracts could win. It's an ambitious trade because your Lombos are so valuable, but I'm kind of shocked that B got that close. With Lombos in particular. Probably he felt that if he stayed close to his formation, then the Sapahi couldn't hurt him. But deadly proven wrong there. It's like be content with what he's done. Because what he's done is secured 4 relics. This is the beauty of that, right? Like now it makes a bit more sense why B was a bit overly ambitious with the dive. It definitely looked expensive. He lost some Lombos. The Lombo losses, I think, were the most painful thing at first. But with these relics coming in, he's now going to get all the olive oil necessary to replace those losses. Some more LB spam. On top of that, Numadon just done something crazy. It's rarely seen these days. Janissary Company just came through, so he pulls for the 10 Jannies. But folks, this is a one-off Vizier usage. And you just pulled it into Lombos. I get why he done it for the Cataphracts. But the tricky part now is like Cataphracts can kind of weave away from you here. I find the thing about Janissary Company is Janissary Company should be used in 2 conditions. One is to insta-win the game. One is because you're about to insta-lose the game. So logic there is you're either A, diving the enemy base, and you pull these extra Janissaries so the extra wave has that extra punch to it. Or B is they're diving your base and you can't hold on, but you get a few Janissaries in the right choke point, and they clear the dangerous cavalry. We haven't got either of those situations here. We've got a very weird mid-ground. And now Numadon apparently is looking to lean into Janissaries more. The weird thing is like B's kind of stopped on Cataphract production though, right? No, okay, he's still going for it. How interesting. Well, because this actually just breathes life into the Janissary idea. It's weird because your opponent's even doing crossbows or Jannies. So like, why would you want more Kata? You've already baited him into doing it. Longbows counts both of those, but like you're kind of just giving him more to kill instead of blobbing a lot of Varangian. I guess the argument for B is that Varangian aren't that good against like this crossbow Janny Eva. Like actually, if anything, what might have made the most sense for B is like Limitane. I guess he might have been worried about heavy armor himself though, that the Ottomans would do that. We have got the emplacements working out, the mango emplacement hitting far. Imam Heal's going to come in very handy there though. But you see how awkward it is. Numadon has to either fully commit or just not show up. Because otherwise you're just gradually losing the Lombos. A Lombo count that has now reached to make up half of B's overall army size. Yeah, I mean the Mango Tower I think is what made him hesitate as well. He saw a second outpost. For all he knows, it's got the upgrade in. Other outposts behind that, once again, for all he knows, it's got the upgrade in. Those Mango emplacements are truly toxic to dive at this stage. Yeah, like, you don't really care about the Mango Towers as much when you're just running past. I mean, it hurts, but you can get there. Where it really kills you is when you're in this situation where you're stuck on the spot. And what's up, Pazuzu? I see you with the sub. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate the support. 75% of the way on the sub goal. Not bad. So who benefits more from this slowdown? The olive groves are starting to thick up nicely. And B did get 4 relics, so I'd lean him. We do have to also remember there's always the passive production for Numu, but while it's decent in Castle, it's not the absurd thing you're used to seeing in Imperial. It's like right now, I think this kind of longer castles are a bit better for Byzantines because they're already prepping their economy for the late game. On top of that, we already highlighted how Lombos play into this Janissary idea of late. One thing that B is missing is the idea of Limitane. Like, Limitane could begin to make more and more sense here with the Varangian, with the crossbow count still being decent. But Numu is going all in, folks. We've got the Great Bombard point pull. No hesitation on it, not phased at all. And yes, with the relics, it's always better to put them into the Grand Wineries on average. Just because Oliver was very difficult to sustain early on. It's burst-based, but when you get relics, it's reliable. The exception is if you're doing, like, maybe just a Catter-only build, and then you want the gold instead. Here we go, charge coming in. Speaking of those Catters, they are starting to get massacred already. Varangian are going to take their place. The Trample's going to come through, can connect right into the Mangoes. Stops just in the right spot, so we'll be able to snipe them down. That means the Lombos are now uncontested. Sipahi count, non-existent. And the final Mango does get sniped. And now it's going to be a trick of the front line just to bait Numidan's attention while the Lombos try to carry through here. Yeah, numbers are deceptive. You're seeing Numidan actually maintain a lead, but he needs to start hitting this back line. He is able to reach it now. So comes out of it ahead, but like, the problem now is can you dive with this? And if you don't dive with this, what's the next fight look like? I think that's why Numidan went for the Great Bombard, so he could keep pushing here potentially. I'm impressed, actually, how far ahead Numidan came out from that fight with military. I felt like at the tail end, though, despite the 20-ish military lead, the problem is, like, the Lombos just don't care. They should win the trade. But I guess the Great Bombard just keeps threatening him. And also, like we mentioned with B, he is essentially building these units that get hard countered by what he's diving into, melee-wise, instead of just taking spears for blob. And I'm kind of shocked he had to back off that much. But you know what? It actually shows you the difference the outpost made. Yeah, I think what happened here is B, he lost the outpost to Trebuchet and freaked the hell out. And then full retreats. What kind of comp do you make against the against what Ottomans have here? I think probably like you just do Limitane for just trash to throw at it, right? Numbers. Because Varangian is also going to have a gold issue where you're spreading yourself thinner and wider. That's tricky. Could he have maybe done... you wouldn't want mangoes yourself, right? But yeah, I just think you do shield wall for the effective HP and you rely on Lombos. But it's tricky because then I think he's just worried about men-at-arms at that stage. And, well, here we go again. Dive comes in. The Cataphracts did not go onto the Great Bombard, so not able to snipe that out. However, B gets a research in military. Is it going to last long enough? Numidan, he's just trying to snipe out the outpost. That's at least being repaired. The Great Bombard is wasting its time in this fight. However, the Sipahi, the Janissary, they're starting to reach. And B, he's starting to falter here. He keeps maintaining this Lombo ground, but every time he keeps losing ground. And we are on the edge of the olive groves. Without that, the game is dead. And even if you hold there, remember the other problem is Numidan has got a ticking clock here. Yeah, he's working his way towards victory. We're 7 minutes now on the sacred site. Numidan, he hasn't been overly aggressive on the Janissary spam. He's actually been keeping a kind of crazy balance, right? Crossbow, Sipahi, Archer, Janni, Men-at-Arms. Men-at-Arms is key, actually. I think the Men-at-Arms have been the most important unit for Numidan in this game so far. And it's actually been carrying him in these fights. Like, without that, I think his backline just dies too fast. Instead, you're just seeing a situation where B's frontline is melting too quickly, and the backline's getting engaged, and here we go. Dive comes in. He's going to start chasing this now with second wave of Spy coming. Able to do so. Is this really happening, man? Like, Numidan, I keep scratching my head. Like, the idea that B had, I wanted to believe it too. The Lombo group could get big enough. But it stopped growing. And that timer keeps ticking. And with it, Numidan, like, militarily keeps building bigger and bigger. I think he's just played these fights so well. And you know, it shows you that sometimes it doesn't need to be about the micro as much, right? There's been some micro in there, but the thing that mattered the most for Numidan is this balance of composition that made it impossible to just break him. What a crazy game. What a crazy series. Like, folks, this series has been running for 2.5 hours. It looked like it was going to be a quick series, actually, to begin with, when Numidan took a 2-0 lead. But you can see how the players, like, the first 2 games, they kind of weighed each other up. They measured up against each other. And game 3, we definitely saw it. And I think in this game as well, what we're seeing is this situation where... I don't know if I would call it outright hesitation, but there's a lot more, shall we say, respect as to the threat on each side. And thus we've reached more of like a slow rolling approach. Why no wheelbarrow? Because if you give your people wheelbarrows, then they become privileged and entitled and think they'd always have wheelbarrows. And then they don't appreciate what they have in life. So, good guy Numidan is trying to be the perfect father to the Ottomans. What a guy. What a Chad, man. More outpost spam from B. He has got the mango emplacements. The Great Bombard, wait, it was taken out here, actually. So an expensive loss there. But he's still with the trebuchets. Trebuchets are more important. Actually, like, in fairness, the Great Bombard often hasn't been able to reach anything that really mattered. You guys remember, in the last big fight, he spent the entire time trying to kill an outpost. Nimu is going to have to reset. Looks like he's lacking the melee to keep pushing. Once he destroyed the aqueduct, I think he's just looking for the dive point. He's tunnel vision on the outpost, because the outpost are the things that stop him going in. We still have Sacred Sites on lock, by the way. B, he has got an outpost here, though. It's like in theory. And I think Numidan, maybe is he scared of that? He's pulled the Sipahi. So might be rotating north side, just because at this stage, why is B not pushing out when there's only 4 minutes left on the clock? The suspicion is probably that he's going for a decap. What a game. Numidan, I think he's just fully focusing on that now. We've got Stone Gathering. He's got 950. It's going to be a castle drop, and it's going to be on the safe one. All right, guys, this is looking grim right now for B. He's pivoting to Mangoes, but Mangoes aren't going to be great for seizing the castles. I think he could just be dead here. Because B, like, he doesn't have a comp that moves out well for the north side Sacred Site. Like, Lombos don't want to make that rotation. Castle drop's now going to be coming in. He does see the move, so he's mirroring it. And the Sipahi are already in position to slow down a decap. Yeah, and now the real problem here, guys. B, the second line is Lombos. The castle's going to stop them. So B now has to wrap wider, go to this north side. North side, where he's already going to be down a front line by the looks of it. Because the crossbows are now coming in for the backstab. Is there anything he can do here? I think it's a really, really hard position he finds himself in here. I mean, the crazy thing is, like, B, if he had maybe 3 or 4 more minutes, we'd be talking about the eco, right? He probably added another 10 groves at least. He'd be bussing. He just doesn't have the time, though. And Numidan. Well, he's spent the time making Lamb wait here. But he's about to set a new all-time achievement for him in Midweek Muster. And what a way to do it. After, like, last week getting dismantled by Gully, to then 3-0 him, to then come through into the semis against the reigning champion and do this. In a matchup where most people, we were talking about before the game began, oh yeah, Byzantines, like, they defy history here. They write their own analogs where they beat the Ottomans. And Numidan instead chooses to right the wrongs and put us back on the real-life track. The Ottomans must destroy the Byzantines. Mango count at 6. Army's bulked and big. Looks at the march in. Spy line's going to spread thin just to try and hold it back. The Mango's trading out up against those longbows. And the crossbows are unharassed because of it. 1 minute left on the clock. The castle is up. And Numenor, all he needs is an even exchange. Instead, he's going to pull ahead here. Mango repair is not going to be good enough. The Sipahi do snipe it out. The workers now on the front line need to bail. And the trebuchets at this point are just a frontline tank. Wasting your attacks so the crossbows can live. So that Numenor can thrive. And book himself a date against the Canadian. Oh my goodness. What a play. It's 14:53 all over again. 30 seconds away from Ottomans taking Constantinople. And B, in shambles now, makes a move. A desperation play here. He goes for a keep drop. Army's already reacting to this pivot. The siege is going to be slow, but it's going to be mighty. He has to do what he can, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. In fact, the workers, they're not even here quick enough. No, he switches the location, but they're going to start dying. And that's it, folks. That's all he wrote. He's done it. Numenor has set himself an all-time high in midweek muster. And after a result like this, I do not know what to expect in that best of 7 against WAM, but I have a feeling it's not going to be a 4-0. No, Numenor really turned up today, man. Especially game 1, game 2, into 2 games following that were more macro dense. I mean, the thing that's impressive about Numenor is he's proving himself to be a robust player, not just one playstyle oriented, as B has found out the hard way here in this semi-finals defeat.